I want to welcome you to Dream Chasers Radio with me, your host, Yaya Diamond. What's up, people? Oh, yeah, we got music. La, 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 la. We got music. Melody Davis is on the show today. I want to say, what's up, girlfriend? How you doing?
I am doing well. I'm so excited. Thank you for inviting me on your show, Yaya.
Oh, man, I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you so much for joining me. I don't think it would be a show without you. I mean, literally. I mean, I would just be sitting here going.
A
So,
little lonely, huh?
so tell me about yourself. How did you get into the music industry?
Oh my goodness. No, good question. I really grew up in the music environment. My mother and father were involved in the church, and so grew up in the church environment. A million years ago, I started directing the choir and singing in the choir, and then probably mid '80s, I branched out and started performing gospel music and touring, doing gospel music. Fast forward. In probably early 2000, I started recording. I just switched genres. Still, gospel's my first love, but switched genres and started doing more like neo soul, pop, inspirational music. So I've released a lot of singles. So grew up in that Motown environment from Gary, Indiana, and grew up around all of that. Your Jackson Five, home of the Jackson Five, is where I was actually born. And just grew up in that whole environment, the Stevie Wonders, the Diana Ross, like I said, the Jackson Five, and just always had a love and passion for music.
That is so cool. I mean, to grow
Yeah.
up in these kind of iconic neighborhoods and
Yes.
seeing all of these just amazing people move forward, you just can't help but want that too.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Being around that, we grew up in a strict house, so we weren't allowed to listen to any secular music during the week. I mean, I'm sorry, on Sunday, but during the week we got our vibe on, our Motown vibe on, and like I said, just like you mentioned, that whole environment of being in that Motown era and all of that was just really impressionable when I was growing up.
Mm-mm. Now, let me ask you a question. I mean, everybody has a life, and I've noticed that there's like a pattern. You got music when you're young, and then all of a sudden life happens. It's like life happens
Yes.
for like 30 years, 20 years, like,
Yes.
oh, where did it all go? And then all of a
Yes.
sudden music or whatever the passion is comes right back into the scene. When did that happen for you?
Unfortunately, I had a life happening event, and that was in 2000. I went through a really, really terrible divorce, so much
Mm-hmm.
so I was offered a contract to sing, to sign with a label, and I was given the option to either stay in a marriage or sign with a label, and I chose love.
Oh,
And so,
wow.
yeah, I chose love. Unfortunately, the marriage ended. And like I said, it was in 2000. And to be honest with you, it was so heartbreaking that I decided to give up music completely.
Mm.
And it was a decision of my heart at the time. And then fast forward when I met my now soulmate, we were dating, and just as a singer, with music come on while we're driving, I'm humming to it, but I didn't want him to know that I was a professional singer and date me for that reason. And then one time he asked me, because of people think Melody is a stage name, but it's actually my given name.
Mm-hmm.
And so he Googled me and found my CDs and all that, and basically he started encouraging me, thank God, to get back involved in music. So I started performing locally here, and then started, like I said, releasing singles. So I really thank God for him, for encouraging me to not give up the passion and not
Wow.
give up the gift. So that was the influence that he had. And so, yeah, so I have been, like I said, releasing singles ever since probably 2005, in a different genre, like I mentioned, neo soul and inspirational and pop. So yeah, so
Wow.
it was a decision, that I made at the time for the sake of love. But now, fast forward, no regrets. It's who I am now, and can't live in the past. You got to move forward, right?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I always encourage people, when we have to give up who we are
Mhm.
to be in a relationship, then that's not the relationship that I personally, I don't know about anybody else, but I
Yeah,
I don't want to be in that relationship.
agreed, agreed.
And I think that, it's heartbreaking. I mean, it's like
Mhm.
it's traumatizing.
Mhm.
You're going through this whole thing. You've been with this person so long, and then music has always been, a part of you, and now you have to give it up, and then
Mhm.
that happened. you come back in because of
Mhm.
the encouragement of somebody who truly does love you and wants to see the best for you. That is wonderful.
Yes, 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 and that's what it is. I think a marriage or partnership or whatever you call it should bring out the best in each other.
Yeah,
And so he is my biggest fan, and I'm his biggest fan. So whatever he wants to do, he plays drums and does woodworking. I'm his biggest fan, and vice versa. He's my biggest fan when it comes to music or when I'm touring or performing. He's right there, and so yeah, it's like you said, it should bring out the best in you when you're in a relationship. So.
definitely,
Yeah,
definitely. So now that the best is yet to come, and that's like literally speaking,
exactly.
tell me about your new single.
Oh my goodness, I am so excited. The new single dropped on July 25th. It's called Trouble. And the premise of the song is basically I when I was singing this song, I had to go back to that dark place
Mm,
of going through that divorce because sometimes you're so embedded in a dark place and you think there's no way out. I always use the analogy of being on Gilligan's Island, like you're the only one that are going through this. And then it came to the point, my village, my family and friends started encouraging me, no, trouble's not going to last always. And then I started relying on my faith and reading the Bible, and started getting that glimpse of life. But at that time, it felt like, the world had caved in. There was no hope. There was no way out, and I felt alone, and so started relying on my faith. And then fast forward, I'm like, you know what? Trouble don't last always. And so
that's right.
I have to I had to really, peel off the layers of darkness per se,
Mm,
and then had to look at that glimmer at the time of light, and then fast forward, I'm like, there is hope, there is encouragement, there is motivation. And that's what the premise of the song talks about. Trouble don't last always. Will trouble come? Absolutely. But you got to realize you have that village, you have people that encourage you, you have resources that you can rely on to get out of that place of darkness and get into the light. So
yeah.
I really enjoyed singing that song because it was like really a testimonial for me, and I was able to hopefully rely that and cause others to be motivated and encouraged when trouble does happen, and realize that trouble doesn't last always.
Mm, I hear you. I
Yeah,
hear you.
yeah,
Everybody wants to leave a legacy.
yes,
You 100 years from today, you want people to say something about your life. Now,
yes.
thinking about your life, the music, no music, family, husband, divorce, all that stuff. What
Mhm.
kind of legacy do you think people will get from you, and what kind of a legacy do you want to leave? And is there a big difference?
It is a big difference, and I'm so glad that you asked that question. You just don't know, because my husband and I were just talking about this. When we leave this planet, which is inevitable to happen, I want people to take away from my life and my music that I left a positive impact, and a hope and encouragement, through my music or through my personal life, or just being a friend or being a classmate, being a sister, being a mother, being a wife. I want people to basically um, take from me and say Melody left a positive impact on my life, either through her personal life or through her music. There's so much negativity happening, and
Yeah,
so when I write music, I want it to be uplifting. I want it to be positive. I want it to be about positive relationships
yeah,
now, and so that's the hope and that's the goal of me writing songs is to leave that legacy of people. And I'm not knocking people that create music in other genres that may leave some, that may have a different message. But my personal goal is to leave a legacy and to have music that uplifts, that talks about positivity and motivation. And I think,
yeah.
this climate that we're in now, we need that hope. We need to know that trouble don't last always,
Oh
right?
yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I love it when people come on the show and they talk about themselves in a way that encourages other people.
Mhm.
It's like ultimately we do have to leave a legacy regardless of
Yes.
what profession we're in. If we were housewives, or
Hmm.
if we work from home, entrepreneurship, if we worked at a business, ultimately we're going to leave a legacy. It just depends on what kind of a legacy you want to leave. What do you think is the difference between the legacy you want to leave and the legacy that you're leaving now? Like if you were to leave today,
Hmm.
what do you think and hope that people would say about
Man, I love your questions. I love your questions. They're really
you?
thought provoking. I try to live in the way my parents raised us, like I said, in the church and relying on our faith. And I thank God for them. They've now transitioned on. But I have not been perfect, and I'm not even trying to paint a picture of me being the perfect mom, the perfect wife, the perfect friend. But I try to live a life by example,
Mhm.
and that scripture, do unto others you would have them to do unto you. So I try to live that life daily. So if I were to transition today, hopefully my friends would say that I was a good friend. I was a dedicated friend. My music inspired them and inspired others. The feedback that I've received on Trouble has been really, really positive. And some people have texted me or called me, or I've seen messages like on YouTube, basically sharing I was going through this and your music inspired me, or this was happening in my life. I lost my job, your music inspired. So again, that's the hope and the goal of my personal life and of my music, is to leave a positive impact on that song. If I could touch just some one
Wow.
person,
Yeah,
that's the goal. That's the goal.
awesome.
You can't
Awesome.
change the world, but if you can make a positive impact on one person or more, I believe that's a really good life.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And that's a great
Yeah.
thing to say. I mean, a lot of people take for granted that they're going to be here tomorrow. you know
Right.
and
Right.
we don't know if we're
Right.
going to be here tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to be here tomorrow.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's been days where you thought, I'm going to die for sure,
Yep.
this is just it, I'm
Hmm.
done. But then you live another day. There's car accidents, there's plane crashes, there's all
Yeah.
kinds of things. And I tell people, some people that don't fly, they say they're afraid of the plane. I said, well, if you're going to die in a plane crash, it's either going to crash into you or you're going to be on it. It's going to be one
Yeah.
or the other.
Exactly. Exactly.
So you might as well just live your life and don't take anything for granted.
Yeah.
What kind of advice do you give to people, someone who is maybe taken for granted their current relationship, their current life, or whatever? What kind of a focus should they truly have for their dreams in their future?
It's again, I love your questions. I wrote this song and it was released last year called Focus. And
Mm,
that was the whole point. And the chorus of the song goes, focus on your dreams, focus on your needs, meaning that always acknowledge God, always remember the source of where all your blessings or all your finances or your health came from Him. And
mm,
my husband and I, we always say that we're going to live in a moment. Now, obviously, yeah, we have savings and things like that, but we love to travel, and we travel a lot, and it's like we plan excursions, and our whole
mm,
premise in doing that is we want to live in the now. Like you mentioned, tomorrow's not promised. We have goals of living 5-10 years, but life could happen, and if God decides for us to transition, then it is what it is. But you want to live, like we mentioned earlier, that legacy. And I was reading something the other day, is that the saying is like, don't save the good dishes, like don't save the china, use it now.
oh
And
yeah.
that is our premise. Forget about putting the china up in the china cabinet, pull that stuff out and use it now. Share with others. And same thing, when we travel, we go big, and no complaints. I mean, we've worked in corporate America so long, and we've earned the right to travel. And people may
Yeah.
have a say about your lifestyle and all that, but it's like, what, we've earned that, and I don't care what anyone says. No one else is paying our bills here. So we live a lifestyle as if, like you said, if something happens, we can go in our grave and says, what, we enjoyed life. Yeah.
That's right. So
Yeah.
enjoy your life. Yep,
Yeah.
yep. And I don't believe that anything happens, happenstance, or it's just a
Agreed.
coincidence, coinkydink, It's like, no, no
Exactly.
coinkydink.
Right.
This happened
Right.
for a reason. And you know what? This song is your reason right now. I thank you so much for being on the show. I'm personally gonna say, guys, listen, you guys know how this works. I'm going to have all of her information in the description box below, but let me go ahead and put it on the screen so people can find you on melodydavismusic.com.
Correct.
Right? As
Yes.
well as your Instagram,
Yep.
Melody Davis Music, and your Facebook, also Melody Davis Music. And so, do you have all of your music streaming on all streaming platforms?
All streaming platforms, wherever you listen to music, it's there. Yeah.
Awesome.
And subscribe to my YouTube as well, which is Melody Davis Music. Yeah, there it is.
All right. That's it. Melody Davis Music on YouTube. Subscribe, like, comment. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Like it.
That's right. That's right. Well, I want to thank you so much for being on the show. You guys, here, we're going to go ahead and play her song, but I'm going to have her introduce it. So don't forget to go into the description box below if you have any questions or any comments you want to make. We're both watching it. So go ahead and do it. We'd love to answer you. I'm going to back out. Miss Davis, you go ahead and introduce your song.
Hey, again, this is Melody Davis. Thank you so much, Yaya. It was so fun and a pleasure being on your show here. Guys, I just want to offer a glimmer of hope. If you're going through something, if it's life happening events, if it's suicidal thoughts, if it's finance, if it's a divorce, realize this song Trouble, and realize that trouble don't last always. So take a listen. Hopefully it will encourage you. Again, trouble don't last always.
Yeah.
I did to be different.